Welcome to Bruce Talks, the show that's all about making crop insurance make sense. I'm Bruce Lantzky, a crop insurance agent with over 25 years of experience and a producer right here in Northeast Iowa. For today's topic, we're going to do ECO coverages from 2025. Will I be getting anything from this coverage? Many of us are sitting down with our bankers this time of year and hearing this quite often. Hey, my banker wants to know if I'm going to be getting any payment from our ECO coverage. Let's dig in and figure out whether there's a probability of getting a payment or not and see what the numbers look like. Okay, so enhanced coverage option, ECO. This is an endorsement on your normal RP policy that adds a top level to your individual coverage. It's going to be based on the county and how the county yield does. It provides coverage from 86% up to the 95% of your expected county revenue. I did sell some of the 95% level, but we reduced the price down to 50% last year in order to manage premiums, but the majority of folks did purchase the 95-100. Your losses, they're not going to be known until all the production's reported in the county. This is going to be after April 29th of this year. The amount of the loss is based on a shortfall of expected county revenue minus your actual county revenue. Your payment factors are going to range from 50% to 100%. The harvest price is set. We know where the price is set. All we're really waiting on is the actual county yield to be able to determine what kind of payment we're going to be getting. In a perfect world, if you've already reported your production, if your neighbor who's a little slower getting things reported, if everybody would be like you and have it all reported already, we probably could get a better idea of releasing it earlier, but that's why we have the April 29th reporting date, because it just doesn't happen sometimes. And the last day to report production for the 2025 crop year is the 29th of April. So let's look at this current estimate. This is a spreadsheet that we give our customers to give them an idea of, hey, what kind of possible payouts could we be looking at? For 2025, we started the year with $470 as a beginning spring price on corn, and we finished at $422. In this example, we're utilizing my home county, Chickasaw County. On soybeans, we started at $10.54 and went to $10.35. If you look at what an expected crop is, on corn, the county expected a 206.2 bushel yield. So with the drop from 470 to 422, if we look on this chart and find a yield that's very similar, that would be at 206.7 bushels. We're going to get a payout of about 55% of the coverage that ECO provides. This is mainly due to a drop in the expected revenue. But if we look at the bean crop, as we only dropped 19 cents, our expected yield was 57.9. And if we look down on our chart here, the 57.9 is not even on our chart. In order to start getting paid, the yield would have to drop below 56 bushels per acre. Not sure whether we're going to have that or not. Soybeans would need to have had more of a yield loss due to the limited amount of price drop. One of the other things this chart does is it provides what the record yield was for the county in the last 5 years. And what that does is it gives you an idea as a producer, saying you can look back and think back to, okay, for instance, in Chickasaw County, 2022 was a pretty good year. We had 225.4 bushels, and our expected yield in 2025 is only 206.2. So it gives us an idea of, hey, best case scenario for yield, this is probably what we're still going to get paid. So this next table shows the yields at a 100% basis. So what I did is I changed the yields from the expected yield to a 100. This allows us to figure out percentage-wise what your individual county would have to do in order to get a ECO payment started. So when we convert the corn yield over, we see that ECO payments are going to start if the county has 105.8% of the expected county yield. This gives you an idea of, okay, if you have a very good crop, your county basically has to have a very good crop in order to not get paid on ECO. The other thing is it's going to max out at 95.8%. What does this mean? This means, hey, if the county had a little bit of yield loss and we went ahead and had enough of a yield drop, the amount of coverage you have under ECO is probably going to pay out full. If you'll also notice that our
county yield record is actually 115.8% of the expected yield. So we've never gone above 115% of our expected yield for any type of yield. On the soybean side, this kind of shows you that since we didn't have that price drop, we're really going to need some type of a yield hiccup in order to collect any type of ECO on our soybeans. If we convert the expected yield to 100, it shows that in order to start getting paid on ECO, you're going to need a 96.7% yield in order to start getting paid. And you're going to max out at about 87.6%. You can also see there that the record yield for soybeans was also 116% above what the expected county yield was. So on the soybean side, it's going to be very tough to get any type of ECO payment without some type of a yield loss. So this next table, we want to take a look back and see, okay, well in 2023, I wanted to find a year that we had a pretty good price drop, and it would enable you to say, hey, I'm going to have some type of a loss, I just don't know. And I think 2023 was a perfect example of this. For instance, we started the year with $5.91. I know it's hard to believe we had a guaranteed price that high, but yes, $5.91. And we finished the year at $4.88. So we had quite a bit of a drop, over $1 drop in the corn market. So our expected yield that year in Chickasaw County was 203.7 bushels. And the final yield then, if we looked at 203.7 bushels, if you look at the county yield and what kind of payout it would be, we had to have some type of record yield in order to not receive a payment. Our record yield was in 2022 at 225.4. If you look at the chart, 225.4 was going to pay about 44% of our total liability on the ECO side. The only way we were not going to get any type of payment is if we went up from a 203.7 bushel expected yield, we had to go all the way up to 234.4 bushels an acre. A full payout was 212.2 bushels an acre. So as you can see, unless the county did not have any type of record yield or very good yield, you were going to see some type of ECO payment when it finally paid out in June. And on the soybean side, we went from $13.76 to $12.84. Again, numbers it's hard to believe we were up there, but yes, we were. There wasn't much percentage-wise of a price drop on that, so the payout started at 101% of the expected yield, and it maxed out if we went down to 92% below the expected yield. So those are some of the things that we can show. In 2023, it looked like corn, the ECO payment was very likely, and it actually paid out. So let's summarize all this. The only thing we're waiting on is to determine if an ECO payment will be made is the county's average yield. The deadline for reporting is April 29th of 2026. So if your neighbor hasn't reported his production yet, I'll encourage him to get that done. County yields are going to be released probably that first, maybe the second week of June. And crop insurance companies are very good at getting those payments out if they're available. They usually turn around and get those out. That's one of the things they can brag about as far as service. The previous slides show that payments are going to start at 105.8% of the expected yield on corn. This is due to a price decline. On soybeans, it's going to start at 96.7%. Not as much of a yield is going to be needed because there wasn't as much of a price decline. We can provide you a customized spreadsheet to give you your yield triggers for your county. The county records yield will also give you a perspective on where yields might settle as far as what a very good crop in your county looks like. So if you purchased ECO for the 2025 crop year, and although yields are not released till June, we can provide you payouts based on your estimated county yields. Corn, it may have a possible ECO payment even though the expected county yield was met. It's due to a fairly large drop in prices from spring to last fall. Soybeans, they appear to have a possible payout, but that's only going to be if the county's expected a drop in the actual county yield. It's mainly due to this drop in prices from spring to fall for soybeans was fairly limited. All right, so that's going to be a wrap for today's Bruce Talks. We reviewed our potential ECO payout spreadsheet. It's going to provide you with needed county yields to trigger ECO payments, and this can be customized for your county. If you have any questions on what your yield triggers for your county may look like for an ECO payment, reach out to me, give me a call. Be sure to join us next week where we'll break down another timely topic to impact your farm, from risk management strategies to government programs to crop insurance, so you can make that confident, informed decision that's best for your operation. Thanks for tuning in to Bruce Talks, where we keep your farm future in focus. See you next time.